You finding things maybe a little bit overwhelming, a little bit, you're getting a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed. Well, can totally relate to it. And today, what I'm going to talk about is the power of nature that I've really found helpful for me and my mental health in my journey. And if you stay until the very end, I have an extra point for you then as well. Now, if you want to connect even more with me or find more of my work, then check me out on social media. I will leave my links in the show notes below for you there as well. So I recently went on a trip into the mountains in Wales in Snowdonia. Right, I probably said that wrong, name completely wrong. All right. Anyway, I went to Wales, the country next to ours, of course, in England, and it was beautiful remote. It was a beautiful remote place. Now I went and did some work with my coach, and he took me on a journey up the mountains, and I released a lot of things, and it's something he's very advanced with. Him and his partner, him and her do a lot of this kind of work together. But yeah, me and him went and did quite a lot of like releasing certain emotions, but also connecting to nature, and I found it really, really beneficial. And I disconnected from devices as well, and I felt a lot of benefits. Now, actually, the transition back is sometimes a little bit challenging. So I found myself connecting to the mountains and the water, and I thought I'd share this with you. When I connected to the water, and again, this is just an experience for me that I wanted to share with you. And you can maybe go and try this out for yourself. But I connected to the water, and what I really learned, if you go sort of into the deep, the kind of spiritual side, is water's like what's within us. So in our body, we're mostly made up of water, right? But actually, there's nature has water as well, and water is always flowing through the planet. And when I started connecting with that, I realized there was a flow of life. And actually, that flow is something that can allow the flow of some of the challenging emotions. So by connecting to the water in particular, I was able to connect deeper inside myself and found it quite meditative. But generally, like if you look up like the benefits on Google and in scientific articles, you'll see there's a lot of benefits around nature and your mental health. So I found that for me, there are certain energies I felt like I was really held in nature, that I was really connected because we are part of nature. And the thing is, nature I found for me allows me to get more in my body, more into my heart, and be part of the world, as opposed to being inside and being on devices all day, right? Which most of us are, particularly in like the UK, the US, I know, speaking to a lot of people, because we're like working, remote working, all these kind of things. And I found it really got me into the body, and therefore I disconnected from devices, and it really helped me connect with me and get a lot more clarity. And maybe it's something that you're thinking about. Maybe you get so caught up in your head, you're busy, 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 you're on your phone, devices distracting you left, right, center. Because actually, I found for me, it's actually hurt me mentally, because I get more stress, more anxiety, all these kind of things when I'm on devices a lot more. And it's still a work in progress, definitely. But going on breaks into nature has certainly helped me. So I wanted to talk about this with you today. So just some simple tips really about how you can maybe begin to do this a little bit more. Number one, schedule time each day to connect with nature. And I'm not talking about an hour with nature. You've probably not got an hour necessarily to connect. Maybe some days, but probably most days, if you like most of us, like we've got so many habits, we're trying to do all these good things, right? Or we generally got very hectic schedules. You've probably not got an hour a day or even 30 minutes in quite a lot of cases to connect with nature, right? Well, what about 5 minutes? Have you got 5 minutes to connect with something that could really help your mental health, that could really get you out of your head and a little bit more relaxed? Right, again, it's not going to be like a fix all your problems kind of thing, but I found for me, it's really allowed me to connect more with something outside of my mind. So for me, I live by a harbour in a city. So what I do is I'm going to make this intentional practice to go and connect with the water. I just look at it. I sit there. I actually sit by some plants as well. Sometimes I walk by the plants, the trees, which are part of nature. Water is part of nature. And I just do that and not look at my phone. And that's just a connection. The next one, find a little bit of a longer time to connect each week. I've got some woods in the city where I live in Bristol, and there are some great like walks around the city, like centre. Now I live right in the city centre where there's lots of bars and things going on, and that's great. Like sometimes I enjoy that for my social life. Yet I also like getting out into the quiet a little bit and actually walking into nature and connecting with it away from my phones is really good. What I personally like, I'll share this with you, you don't have to do this, is I like to go for a run and then go for a walk. So when I run, I really get into my body a lot more, out of my mind, because I'm exercising, moving the body. And I also do dance for 5 minutes a day. I'm not a very good dancer, but it's just good to get out of it helps you get into the body, which is really good to connect with yourself. So I like to run and then walk. You can do that. Don't have to run. And just go to somewhere where there's a bit more nature for like a bit of a longer session, 30 minutes, an hour, a week, once a week. Just find somewhere to connect with nature a bit more. And number 3, find time to disconnect from your devices as well. We've talked about this. It's definitely easier said than done, as is life, I guess, with many of the challenges we come up against. But just cut it down. You don't have to cut it out of your life, but find some time to cut down some things in your life, like screen time, and just maybe putting a limit. You're not going to look at your phone for a certain amount of hours in the morning, right? So disconnecting for me, I found has really helped. Okay, I'm going to go and finish with a final point for you. Just to mention again, though, if you want to connect with me more, you want to follow more of my content, then I have left my social media links for you below as well. My extra point I really want to end on for you is find yourself a retreat or a group program. This is a really good thing I found. I did this last year. I went into the Amazon rainforest with a group for like 10 days. I'd known a friend who's done a silent retreat, and that's very beneficial for him. I personally haven't done that, and I think I'd find that challenging, but I would push myself to do it, right? Lots of things I want to do. That may be one of them. That's on the list somewhere, right? Anyway, I went into Amazon and did all sorts of things like plants and all that kind of thing. But it was really good to connect with nature in that sense. Right, I was actually disconnected from the internet, which is good as well, in a way, right? I got a bit bored, but when you get bored, you have to really be with your thoughts, right? And some people don't like that. I didn't like that, but I had to deal with it and work through quite a lot of the things, and that's still something I do to this day, right? Work through that discomfort so I can feel the discomfort, so I can feel the good emotions as well. So find a group program, find a retreat or something as well as an extra thing you can do to connect with nature, get yourself out there. So that's what I got for you today. Really wanted to talk about the benefits of nature for men's mental health, that I wanted to share my own journey. So I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people in your life by working on yourself as a man. And remember to lead with your heart, not with fear.